Hi everyone. Let's start our presentation with the magic of WebNet. So now I'm going to discuss the dilated causal convolution layer, which is the heart of this WebNet. So if you'll see, it is a fully convolutional neural network where the convolution layer have various dilation factor that allows its receptive field to grow exponentially with depth and cover thousands of timestamps. So if you see this like blue line, blue dots, those are like timestamp value at different timestamps. So if I consider this is as a t, so this will be t minus 1, t minus 2, t minus 3, and then after it will be t plus 1, t plus 2, t plus 3. So in that way, it is able to handle long-term dependency without an explosion of model complexity. Means without making the model too much complex, it is able to handle a long-term dependency. That I will discuss later in a broader manner. Now let's come to the architecture of how actually this dilated convolution layer is working. So if you talk about dilated causal convolution, it has two parts. One is causal structure, another is dilated convolution. So before coming to causal structure, I would like to go to show you the convolution standard convolution structure. So suppose this is my standard convolution structure where blue points are our input. If you will see like each of the input is activating its front, right side neurons and also left side neurons. So it is a all three directional. So it will go here also, it will go here also, straight also and left also. So in that case, suppose we are giving as a t minus 1 as the input at t minus 1, and this is my t time output. Like t time output means like present time output. This is my past time t minus 1 output. So this is my t minus 1 input. If we want this to implement for the sequential data or as a time series data, in that case we will pass these value as a timestamps count. Okay, timestamps count. So in that case, this t minus 1 will activate this t, and the previous one also, previous this t minus 1, t minus 2, t minus 3 will also activate this. But in this case, if you will see like t plus 1 is also activating this neuron, and then t plus 2 is also activating. It means that our future output, our future value is affecting our present output value. So to handle this, people come up with causal convolution. So I will go to that presentation and explain it to you properly. Okay, here if you will see causal structure, in causal convolution layer, if you will see there is only two directional, either is a straight or it is left, sorry it's right. So in that case it will activate only the front or left neurons. So there is no chance of activating the right neurons by the future input. So if we are here, the other than this like t plus 1 t or t plus 2 will not affect at present time or past input. If I will consider all, it will say that our future time steps output will not affect our present or past output. Now coming to the second part is a dilated convolution. So basically in this way, in the causal convolution layer, if you will see, in this way we are able to handle that issue where future is affecting our current or past output. But suppose in that case, if you will see like three hidden layer we have, and then we are not able to cover multiple inputs. I mean to say like we are not able to properly capture the long-term dependency of this output value. Because here if you will say like t minus 1, t minus 2, t minus 3, t minus 4, t minus 5, then after everything we left, it is not affecting our output value. But we need those. We need a long-term dependency where our all other inputs should affect our output. So researchers come to a conclusion that they can use a dilated convolution to achieve that drawback, yeah, to achieve that long-term dependency. So basically this dilated convolution allows the receptive field to increase exponentially as a function of convolution layer depth. So if I will say here in the picture, if you see a right bottom side of this presentation, you will see that input, hidden layer, 3 hidden layers. So each has given as a multiple of dimension, like dilation. This is like 1, this will be 2, so it will be so it is writing as an exponential of this. So 2 to the power 0, it will be 1, 2 to the power 1, it will be 2, 2 to the power 2, it will be 4, 2 to the power 3, it will be 8. So it's exponential. And then if you will see multiple of that, like 1 into 2, so this 2. So we skip one neuron here, and we check the other one, we took the other one. In the same way here, if you will see like 2 to 4, then 1 2 3 4, so fourth one is activated. Same for here, like eighth one is activated. 4 into 2, 8, eighth one is activated. So in that way we are able to capture, if you will see here in the blue dots, we are able to capture a long-term dependency, even it is more than your LSTM. Even LSTM has a limit of capturing long-term dependency, but this WebNet is able to capture more long than the LSTM or RNN. So let's come to the complete architecture of WebNet. This is the complete architecture of WebNet, and basically if I will show you, like here is our dilated convolution. It will split into two branches. One is a 10H and other is a sigmoid. So 10H activation branch is considered as a learned filter, and this sigmoid activation branch is considered as a learned gate. So both will combine and multiply, and it will give you a gated activation. It will give you a gated activation, and then there will be 1x1 filter, and there, if you will see here, before the dilation there will be a residual. So this residual will be directly skipped to this after this 1x1 filter, and then after there is a skip connection. So we are skipping some of the neurons. We are skipping some of the neurons, and then we are passing. So then after there is a ReLU function 1x1, and then ReLU again this is 1x1, and then softmax, and then the output you will get. So before like in the starting also, your input will come through your convolution, causal convolution layer, then the dilated. These both combined will make a single architecture as a dilated causal convolution layer. So there we can raise one question: why gated activation instead of standard ReLU activation? So this is based on the design and the experiment which is done by researchers and the same performance is also extended broadly to time series data. So in this way, now I'm going to end this presentation. Then now I will discuss the practical example of WebNet, where I will use 14 lakhs of web pages, Wikipedia web pages traffic data, along with some of the exoc variables, and I will explain how we can solve that high dimensional sequence series data. So if you will see, our agenda is mentioned here: EDA, feature creation, walk forward, split feature encoding, WebNet model building, loss calculation, and prediction for the next 60 days. So stay tuned. In the next video, you will get that the complete presentation and practical of WebNet for Wikipedia traffic page. Thank you. Thank you very much.